community you have, your friends, your community can be your place of worship. It could be your place of work. It could be your family. It could be your home. It could be your friends. It could even be on social media. The community you find yourself on social media. The people you communicate with on a day-to-day basis. It could be anything. And once you don't feel accepted there, it's going to be hard for you, especially if you don't know who you are. Yes. Or what you stand for, or you don't have your own personal values that you keep to and you stick to. The community you find yourself would make you who they want you to be.
Yes. Welcome to Bows, and thanks for joining me today. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome to this community, a community where we support people to identify their purpose, to find their voice, communicate their message, and then to be the best version of themselves. Yes, so you are in the right place. And there, if you have not subscribed, please do that so that you do not miss future episodes. This is the time where I say that. And to the returning people, viewers, thanks for joining us again. I am really excited that you are all here today. Wow, today we're going to have somebody who is amazing. And we're going to be talking about identifying your own worth, knowing your own worth for good. Unfortunately, the world we are now puts so much pressure on us. They put pressure, the people around us, the community where we find ourselves, puts pressure on us that we are not even sure. We do not know what is good for us. We do not know what is bad. We do not know what we want because of the community, because of the environment. And it's not healthy. That's not how it should be. You should live your life based on what you want, based on your own values, based on what you believe, importantly, based on what makes you happy. I have somebody today who is going to share her experience. She's going to share her experience on how she's been able to identify her purpose, know her worth. She knows her worth and she's shining bright. Adedolapo Adeyekun. She will be sharing with us her experience today, and she'll be sharing hacks on how to set and align yourself and prepare yourself on that path for purpose, on that path for knowing your worth. If you think this is you, if you think you are living your life based on what people think, if you think you're trying to please other people as opposed to doing what makes you happy, then you want to stay and watch this till the end. Because I'm sure that by the time we finish this, you would have been able to pick one or two things that will facilitate your journey on being your best self. Can we have Adedolapo? Hello, Dolapo. Thanks for joining me. I'm super excited. I call her Dola Posh. She's my big sis, by the way. Yes, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good evening, Bola. Thanks for having me on your show. I am honored and it is a privilege to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I feel the audience are all excited as well. Yes, so it's about lots of people not being able to identify their purpose, Unfortunately, the world we are now, lots of people put pressure on themselves, and that's because of what the world thinks they should do, what is good, what is bad, as opposed to what they want, Okay. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on identifying and knowing your worth for good?
Okay. Thanks. That's a good question. It's a good observation. And this particular topic, I believe is going to help a lot of people. I haven't always been a very confident person. It appears to all my friends, I know people, everyone that has always known me, that have always been confident. I haven't always been a very confident person. I haven't always been someone who can speak her mind the way I do. I've always, there was a time in my life I lived to please people. Okay, when I was growing up, my mom's quite liberal, very, I call her mom for the whole world because that's who she just is, But she had times when she would discipline us. And then I'm the last of my family. So
really?
I kind of got to, yeah. So I kind of got to with all sorts of things, I would look for my brother's trouble, my sister's trouble, and still get away with it because my mouth was sharp. And then going into secondary school, I went to live with an aunt and then the dynamics changed a bit because, well, you're not at home with your mom. There are things you cannot do with your auntie. So that kind of just inhibited me a bit and took away a bit of the liberty and the bubbly, just do it anyhow nature. So that kind of just quietened me a bit. Then in my third year, I went into boarding house. And then in boarding house, of course, you can't be yourself, but I can trust in boarding house most of the time. When there was trouble, I was always part of if my name was not on the list, it was not a complete list. Let's just put it that way. And then living and then living secondary school, I didn't pass my WAEC on time. And then I have my older sister is a genius. She spent 4 years in primary school to secondary school. Wow. From secondary school, finished secondary school in June, and was investing in September. Wow. So there was a kind of expectation on me to follow that trend. But I haven't always been a child that listens to that follows trend. Yeah. I've always been known as a rebellious child, so I don't follow trend. So I didn't follow that trend. I finished secondary school. Initially, I said earlier that I'm a child that loves to please. Yeah. So initially, my uncle thought, she's a very intelligent girl. They had to do sciences. I didn't like sciences, but I did it. And I failed. Wow. I was good in sciences in my Form 3. I don't know what happened in Form 4, but I failed. And then I think I retook my WAEC twice. Then I switched to arts, and then I passed. And then it remained, okay, what do you want to study? Then I wanted to study, I can't remember, what would I want to, initially in Nigeria, it's like you want to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or accountant, blah, blah, all those things. So I wanted to be a lawyer, but I didn't get into study law. And then I got into Polytechnic to study business admin and management. I didn't finish that. I didn't finish my OND because I got pregnant along the line and got married. And that's done in the bin. No. Before I got married, I got admission into the Ondo State University to study English. And that was in my bid to become a lawyer. And I was there for about a year, and then there was this ASU strike. It was during the ASU strike I got pregnant. And then I had to get married because of the church I attended at the time. And then my mom was a member of Deeper Life, so it was like, "Bad, don't you see me? Don't disgrace me." So I got married to the father of my children, and with two half-baked degrees, courses. Two half-baked courses. I felt okay. There you are. You didn't finish you took 2 years to do your work. You went to Polytechnic, you didn't finish. You got to university, you didn't finish. Now you are pregnant. You got pregnant out of wedlock, and then I married. And then I married a man.
Community we are from, isn't it?
I'm telling you. Then you married a man, and then my ex at the time didn't have a job. He was living with his older sister. So it was like, and now you married a man who doesn't have a job, a house, And so he moved. Some things happened, and he had to move in to live with my mom. Along the line, I came to the UK, was like, okay, you're British. What are you doing here? Just, do something different. Yeah. So I came to the UK. I left my first son and my ex in Nigeria, and I came to the UK. and I started working. And then I felt a sense of hope because then now I was working, earning my own money and sending money back home once in a while. And then I put all my energy into making my marriage work because that seemed to be the only thing I had at the time that was tangible to me. So I put all my energy into making that work. I put, my life was triangular. I was a church girl. I'm a woman of faith. By that time, I would say I was a church girl. I was committed to my church. Now that I understood what Christianity was at the time, I didn't understand God as I understand him now at the time. So I was a church girl. My life was triangular: work, home, church. I didn't attend social events. I didn't do anything, and then the marriage broke down. The only thing I had that seemed okay. No, before the marriage broke down, I'd gone to university. I'd studied youth work. I'd had a degree, which I almost didn't have, almost dropped out of again, But eventually, I got my degree in youth work. I had a good job, and then looked like, okay, things are going well. You have a good marriage. You have a good job. And, and I was a leader in my church. I was a deaconess. So I was like, things can be better. So my confidence kind of improved. But then at the same time in the church, the leader, my pastor at the time, just saw me as a nobody. So that affected my confidence a bit in church because when we had leadership meeting, I wouldn't speak. If they say, what do you think about something? I would never speak because he never valued my opinion. He made me feel like I was lesser than everybody else. So my confidence was shaking there. But he was close to my ex. So the only reason I was recognized was he was close to my ex and I was good at what I do. Initially, because I was leader of the choir and the choir thrived under my leadership. And then I was moved to the children's ministry, and the children's ministry thrived under my leadership. So those two things, he couldn't deny that. So because of that, he couldn't just push me aside. But then my voice, I was like, second-class citizen to him. Anyway, the marriage, I now thought, okay, at least we have something going here. My ex is a good man. People look up to him. He was doing well in the ministry. He was close to the GO of the ministry at the time, He was well known in the ministry, and I thought, well, that's going well in my life. So that's something to hold on to. Alas, that one too. The man upped one day and he left. And that shook me to the foundation of my being. Because my ex is a good man. He is a good man and he was a good husband to me and a good father to his children. I was what you would call a spoiled wife. I was in the kind of house that, okay, my money is my money, your money is our money. I didn't have to say it, but that is how my home worked. So I was a spoiled wife, All I needed to say was, this one is not finished at home. And it should get provided for. So when he was my husband, he was a good husband to me. And he is a good man, and he was a good father to his kids. He was the kind of husband you would look up to say, okay, I want my husband to be like that. Well, unfortunately, the whole thing, the marriage, so, when someone that you've looked up to, that kind of he was my best friend. He was my gossip partner. He was my friend. He was my paddy. He was my, I language person. In church, we used to talk with I language. People knew us. He was the only person, apart from the pastor, that could walk into my departmental meeting and break it up without asking for permission. He just look and say, where's my wife? I want my wife. Let's go home. He was the only person that could do that. So we had a good relationship. And then for him to just up and leave, even though we had been having problems, I thought that we had gone through that phase and, we're getting better. But he upped and he left without any, this is what you've done wrong. This is why I'm leaving you. This is, we can't work together anymore. Without any of that, he just left. And I tried reaching out to him for ages because he had moved to Nigeria. So he used to come and go. Wow. And I tried reaching out to him and he wouldn't pick my calls. And when he picks my calls, he'll be like, I don't want to talk to you, leave me alone, Wow. And then when eventually talk was like, okay, I don't want you anymore. I don't want this marriage. You're out of my life. I thought it was all a joke. I thought it was all a joke. And then eventually he got married. In fact, my confidence just went because I just felt, okay, you're actually nothing, you know. The only thing you had going for you is gone. So that the little shred of confidence I had left was down the drain. And then I had problems at work.
Wow.
So the job, I lost my job. My ex, you know, something that had to do with the home we had at the time, I lost my home. So I kind of lost everything. So I sunk into depression. You know, but you know, the Bible says that as a woman of faith, I might say a few, you know, excuse me, I don't say excuse me to the audience now because I would be saying a few things about the Bible. The Bible says that all things work together for good. You understand? Because, well, I got depressed, and I was depressed for years. Wow. You know, for years. You know, I think the first 3 years after he left was the worst. And then for like 3 or 4 years after that, I was just going in and out of depression, in and out, you know. And my kids knew the pattern, you know. God bless my sons. They knew the pattern. They would just, when they notice I'm beginning to just stay away from people, like, Mom, you need to get up and go and meet your friends. You know, you need to, you know, get your friends are saying you should go to a party. Go to a party. Why are you staying home, you know? But it was during my depression that, you know, at a high point, that's when I kind of just discovered who I was. Wow. One of the things, one of my pastors used to say to me, immediately my ex left, then the pastor I had, you know, because pastors changed. And the pastor that came in at the time was like a big brother to me because we're from the same hometown, it's from Ondo. So he used to say to me that, he said, after service, you say, why were you scowling during service? You were not smiling. What is the problem? You know, what is the problem? And I would not, you know, initially I would not say anything. And then at a point he told me, he said, you're so unhappy. It's written all over you. Wow. He used to say to me, you have to be individually happy. You have to be independently and individually happy. You have to ensure that your happiness is not from any man or anything. I didn't understand what he meant then, but it was a word, a sentence that dropped into me. And I kept, you have to be independently happy. What does that mean? Independently happy. Is happiness independent? I thought it was people around you that made you happy, things around you, you know, fulfilling other people's expectations of you that made you happy. But then that kept in mind, you have to be independently happy. So during my up times, when I was going through depression, you know, there was a time came and I was like, the first thing I did was I went into positive affirmations. Because I felt rejected, I felt unwanted, I felt ugly, I'm plus size, I felt frumpy. I've always been plus size, by the way. I felt frumpy because my ex left for a younger woman. So it was like, you know, it's like, you know. So the first thing I did to help myself was positive affirmations. I would stand in front of the mirror and I would speak to myself every day. You're not a loser. You're not a failure. You are beautiful. You are confident. You are not rejected. You're wanted. You know, people love. In fact, the things I used to say, something like okay, I will say some of them because I'm quite blunt. I used to tell people lust after you. You are sexy. Your nose makes you beautiful. I'll tell you, I said, this is your flat nose. It makes you beautiful. This is your cheeks. You know, I'll tell myself, I'll say every part of your body is proportionate to each other. You know, you're beautiful in every part of you. This your big belly is beautiful. It makes you wonderful. Without this big belly, you're not complete. You know, I would say things like that to myself, and little by little, my confidence got boosted. You know, I would go with my friends to parties, you know, and some of them will say, and then before then, I'd learned how to make my own, because I do my own makeup. I'd learned how to do makeup or myself. So I would make my face up, and then I'll just, I don't like dressing up too, I'm not a very uptight dress up, you know, I have to, you know, so I just like I just do my simple things, do my makeup, and my friends are like, what is wrong with you? Are you the only one? I'm the only one, no. I'm the only one. Wow. You know, and so from that, my confidence grew a bit from there, but then I still had some disappointments in some areas. I was still feeling unwanted in some areas. You know, I tried to get back into my youth work job, and it was the kind of job I used to do because I was a personal advisor to young people living care with the Southern Social Services then. I tried to get that, and I couldn't get it. So I got into care work. It made me feel, what can I be doing? You know, how can I be a healthcare assistant?
Yeah.
You know, you've had a job that came with a car and you're now, you know, but, you know, I still did it for the money. Then another turning point in my life was my ex, you know, at a point, you know, the way we women think that because you are the father of my children, you must provide for them, even if you are not here. At least they are your children. How can you not feed their children? Yeah. You know, so one day I sat myself down, after running after him for a while, I sat down and I said, if he had died, I know it's not a good thing to wish somebody dead, but I said, if he had died, wouldn't you look after your children? And that for me dealt with that sense of entitlement, you know? So I had to tell my boys, you know what? We don't have much. Whatever it is we have, we would eat. We would manage whatever it is we'll have. And, you know, they kind of agreed with me. And that was it, you know, and that helped me in that area to learn not to depend on anybody. You know, all through my time of depression and while I was going through my healing, one thing I learned, of course, I had friends. I had friends who would stand up, you know, and get up for me any time of the day, who would do anything. But one thing I learned, because of the way things happened between my ex and I, was never to depend on people. Never, ever. Don't depend on people. One, people have their own issues that they are going through, so they cannot be there for you all the time. Yes. So never put your mind 100% on anyone. If it doesn't happen, if they come meet your need and they say no, it is a no. Because another thing is, the word getting a no used to be an offense to me. It used to be like, you can't, because of that rejection thing in my head. Yeah. If I ask you for something and you say a no, it hits me really bad. Yeah. You know? So I had to renew my mind, as in, no is not the final, it's not a final answer. Yeah. You understand? The fact that this person has said no doesn't mean the other person will say no, or the fact that this job has said no doesn't mean that the other job would say no. You know, so I built my confidence from there, you know, learning how not to depend on people, learning to enjoy my own company. And then I understood what being independently happy actually means. Yeah. I went into myself and decided, you know, these are the things that makes me happy. Whatever doesn't make me happy, I don't do it. So I do what makes me happy. I learned what being independently happy. I even told my children at a point, you cannot kill me. I did not kill my mother. You cannot kill me. I'm not going to live my life for you. It's true. And that is how I snatched myself from being emotionally dependent on people. I'm not emotionally dependent on anyone.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are in that kind of situation where, especially, I think I've said it several times. I have somebody who is very close to me. She actually spends so much on her children, and then she says, "Oh, I do this for you. I do this for you. So you should do this for me." And I'm thinking, in future, I don't really want you to be in a position where you're expecting too much on them. So it's better you look after yourself now, so that you're not expecting so much from them. Because unfortunately, I'm not saying that they would not treat you well, but don't get disappointed, and it can hit you hard if they don't, you know. So based on all you have shared, I'm going to start from the beginning. You know, do you think, you know, at the point in time where you had to start living with your uncle and he expected so much, do you think that's where that confidence started? Do you think there's any relation? Because so many people put so much expectation on you, especially when your elder sister was doing very well, and you know that. And to be honest, I think I have said it as well. I found myself in a situation where the people around, I'm from a polygamous home as well, and my younger sister actually graduated before I even went into the university at all. You know, I went to her graduation and I didn't see her, but I didn't even have a bearing, you know. So that alone was, you know. So do you think there is a relationship between, you know, your confidence? Can that be a foundation?
At the time, it wasn't. You wouldn't know.
Yes.
Because as a child, you're growing up and you think, okay, this is what is expected of me and this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, because in healing and in finding yourself, you have to dig very deep.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I did for myself.
Yes.
And I think it is part of what affected my confidence. The expectation of, oh, your sister got into university at 15.
Yeah.
And you're still in secondary school at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think I even have an uncle that, because my sister got married at 22, and when I was 23, said, what are you doing still married? You don't have a boyfriend. What is wrong with you? When are you getting married? Do you understand? You want to be old before you get married? And I'm like, I'm not, at the point I had the mentality of I would never get married. So, so I was like, uncle, leave me alone. So yes, placing expectations on people kind of affects their confidence, because one, they're not living based on who they want to be. They're living based on other people's expectations. And I'm going to say this, since we're talking about expectations, I'm going to say to people, never ever live according to anybody's expectations. Because every time you feel that you have met that expectation, they will shift the goalpost. And so all your life, you're going to keep having to run after meeting up with someone else's expectation
and
of you.
massage their ego.
You keep massaging their ego. You keep doing all that rubbish because you want them to feel that, you know what, I'm walking in line with who you want me to be.
Or you want them to like you.
Or you want them to like, there are a lot of people out there now who feel, I want some, look, I've gotten to say in my life, if you like me, if you don't like me, bye.
See you.
Your likeness, initially I used to be like, your likeness doesn't pay my bills. Mm-hmm. Your likeness doesn't put money in my account. Yeah. So what am I using your likeness for, really?
Yeah.
Do you understand? I'm not using your likeness for anything.
Yeah.
You understand? So the thing is, I don't need you to like me. If you don't like me, bye. I like myself, and that is all that matters.
That's the most important thing. Yeah, for everyone watching, I want you to leave in your comments your thoughts on being the founder. And for those, because we are running this episode to help people who are still in this kind of situation, to link you, to give you hacks on things that you need to look at, things you need to question to be able to enhance you or to facilitate your healing. So if you have other thoughts, keep leaving them in the comments. So Dolakwa, I'm also going to go to at the time where you were in the church and even the head of the church didn't believe in you. Do you think that also because at that time that was the community you had, although you went to work, but you felt you had church, and then your home, which was, those were the two major things that you held on. But then you kept going there, but the people around you didn't believe in you. Only very few people, but the head. So do you think the community in which you find yourself can have impact on you knowing your worth? Because of course, if they don't believe in you, it begins to bring down how you see yourself. And that's of course what we said, what people think of you. So the community you have, your friends, your community can be your place of worship, it could be your place of work, it could be your family, it could be your home, it could be your friends, it could even be on social media, the community you find yourself on social media, the people you communicate with on a day-to-day basis. It could be anything, and once you don't feel accepted there, it's going to be hard for you, especially if you don't know who you are or what you stand for, or you don't have your own personal values that you keep to and you stick to. The community you find yourself would make you who they want you to be. Yes.
Especially on social media, you see there are lots of female groups on social media where, there's lots of male bashing going around because they feel, once the leader probably isn't happy in a marriage or having challenges in their marriage, or once somebody in the group has a challenge, or maybe a post comes up and maybe it's a post about, oh, my husband needs me money for food, men are scum, that's how men behave, blah, blah, blah. And the leader of the group says, oh yeah, I don't understand why men behave like that. That's how men behave. Everybody just follows, they just follow that, they just stole that line. You know, sometimes I've been in groups where I've always had to be the odd one out, as in, why would you think men has come? You know, and people get on me for that. But I'll still say, why do you think men has come? I think it's the rebelliousness in me, the rebellion in me. Why do you think men has come? Why would all of you? And if the annoying part is, there are some women there that are married to wonderful men.
Absolutely.
Are married to men who meet all their needs, men who worship the ground that they walk on. And then they find themselves saying men has come. And then every day, you know, and then you go home and then you start having problems in your marriage in the next few years. You already said men has come. So that's all you can see in your husband. Come.
Yeah.
Whatever he does is come. You know, so the community you find yourself a lot of times affects your confidence, affects who you are. You know, but then at the same time, I'm gonna say this.
The things that you think that you know.
Yes. It can actually change you from being a quiet. There are people on social media who came on social media innocently just to see what's going on and probably make connections with their old friends. Have mistakenly gotten into groups where their mindset has been tampered with. And then you hear them, you see, maybe you see a comment such a person and you're like, what happened to you? You're like, what happened to you? Where are you? What did you do with you? Do you understand? So there are people like that who, you know, they find themselves in a community where everybody there is just bitter.
Yeah.
So they just take on that bile and anger. Yeah. They don't have any issues, but they carry that people's issues. Exactly. And then that's it. So the thing is, a lot of times, the things you expose yourself to, you know, the things you allow to get into you, to filter into your soul. That's why the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. The things you expose yourself to, that you open up your heart to, that you let to get into you, to get hold of you, those things are the things that control you. Those things are the things that take hold of your life. And before you know it, you begin to walk in a way that is not expected of you. You begin to walk out of your own self and you're being somebody else. You know, so that's why people need to be extremely careful. Do you understand? If I'm in a group and I find out that their values, their mode of operation doesn't suit me and I don't like it, as I would try, sometimes I try to, okay, let me see, maybe to change, let me see if it's to change. After a while, I just leave. I don't try to blend.
Yeah.
I'm not the blending type. I do not blend. I've gotten to a stage in my life. Where I would not blend. I don't blend. I just leave jelly. Even if it is my friend that has the group, I will leave. Because I don't want to have to start pleasing people. Because, you know, pleasing people and displeasing myself is not going to happen. You know, so yes, I do agree with you. A lot of times, the community you find yourself, the communication you let to filter into you would affect you, would change a lot of things about you, will change your dynamics. You know, so that's why you need to guard the people around you, guard the company you keep. You know, be sure that these people that you're on the same page. If you're not on the same page, what are you doing together?
Yeah.
What are you doing together? What has light got to do with darkness?
Yes.
You can't mix.
I agree with you. And yes, to everyone watching, you know, if this is for you, you know, or you know someone that needs to listen to this, because I'm still going to throw a couple of questions. And this is an eye-opener where, like I said before, a lot of people are still they have not been able to identify themselves. They're not been able to set those boundaries and know their own values. So you need to keep sharing this to those that need to listen to this. You also mentioned that after you, sorry, I have to go into this. You said, oh, your husband, when your ex-husband left, you kept going, you kept sending him messages, you know. Do you think also, in addition to suppressing your self-worth, being in contact with your past, you know, do you think that had impact as well? It didn't help you come out of that state, because you said you kept coming in from depression and then coming out, you know. But in my own view, I think still having that relationship, well, or that mindset that you still needed something from him, as opposed to seeing yourself as full, you know, do you think that has a relationship with you knowing your worth?
Well, that's, I would say no, and I would say yes. Okay. I'll say yes, because it depends on what your motive is for contacting your past. What is your motive? Why are you digging into your past? Why are you trying to contact your past? Why do you want to have anything to do with your past? You know? And I would say no, because sometimes you learn the lessons from the past to help you move into your future. You dig into your past to help you find out where things went wrong, so you can correct them. So you can know where that impression came from. And if you can address it, you address it and move on. And sometimes you dig into your past so you can know if there's any, you know, like for people that are bitter. Sometimes they're bitter about, you know, okay, like some women, a lot of men that say men are scum. Some of them are from homes where they have been abused. Some of them have had issues with men. So sometimes you have to dig into your past and go back there. Not because you want to believe that, but because you want to ensure that thing doesn't have any hold on you anymore. Because a lot of people, their past has a hold on them, so they cannot release themselves. You have to be sure that that thing doesn't have a hold on you anymore. And how do you ensure that thing doesn't have a hold on you? By forgiving. Forgiveness.
That's where forgiveness
comes in. That's where forgiveness comes in. You sometimes, you know, there's a saying, that there's a quote that says, sometimes you have to accept the apology you will never get. You have to accept the apology. You have to say to yourself, okay, this is where that is coming from. This is where all that bitterness is coming from. It's because that person did this to me at that point in time. You understand? It's because that happened at a time in my life where I didn't have any power of my own to stand for myself. I didn't have any power of my own to say no to what happened to me. I didn't have any power of my own to say, you know, to stop whatever was happening. So you have to go back there and say, okay, I forgive. And to forgive is not easy.
It's not easy. You need to forgive yourself as well. You need to forgive yourself first. Before you think about forgiving the other person. You know, to forgive is not easy. It is not an easy something. Do you understand? You will have to, you know, for me as a person, I've had people I've held on to in my heart. I mean, I've held on to, my ex was one of them, and then there was one other major person that I told myself, why would I let this person continue to control my life? That's when the past controls your future, controls your present and your future. For people that are holding on to bitterness, that is just the case. You're letting your past control your present and your future. So that's where forgiveness comes in. Why am I letting this person control my emotions and control my life? Why am I letting this person control my decisions? Why am I letting this person control, you know, the choices I make? Forgiveness, I always say to me, forgiveness is first and foremost for the benefits of the person that has been offended. Wow.
Forgiveness is first and foremost. Forgiveness does the offended person more good than the offender.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So you just have to let go. Sometimes you dig into your past for that reason alone. Just to make sure that you wipe yourself of that bitterness, wipe yourself of that anger, wipe yourself of that injustice so you can move on.
Wow.
So sometimes if you keep like I said, if you keep holding on to the past because you feel there is a good memory that, you know, you want, you know, because I know there are some people that just and they get stringed along because of that. You know, because there's some good memory you don't want to let go of, so you keep revisiting your past. You will keep being stringed along. You would never be who you are meant to be. You would always walk towards the expectation of that past that you're holding on to. But if you dig into your past because you feel, yes, I need to move on from this. I really, really need a freedom, a release from all that's happened. Then you dig into your past, you deal with that issue. And like you said, you forgive yourself. Sometimes you need to forgive yourself and say, I did know better.
Wow.
I would have made a better decision if I had known better. I didn't know better. Now I know better. And now I'm making a better decision for myself. And so I forgive myself and I forgive that person that offended me. And I let go.
For everyone watching, I want you to leave in the comment that I forgive myself. Actually, I'm saying I forgive myself, you know, because I for everything you've actually said, I can relate so much. So I forgive myself. If you are watching as well, you say, type it in the comments saying, I forgive myself. This is really, really powerful. One question is, at what point were you able to seek without any that you've been able to identify your or know your worth, that you are sure that, yes, I know my worth? At what point were you able to say that?
I wouldn't say I got to know myself at any. I wouldn't, because one, knowledge is progressive. One, so I am still being made perfect. So I'm still being built up. But over the years, I think I can't really pinpoint any moment to say, okay, this is when I knew, this is when I came to, because it was a gradual thing, you know. But I know in the past 2 years, I've had friends who, I know I have a friend, you know, I even sent him a message today to say thank you to him. He would tell me, you don't want to know what you carry.
I know.
He would tell me, stop being so scared. He said, stop being so scared. What is wrong with you?
You know, I was saying to you the other day, you know, when I read your post, I'm like, she's filled, you know, you carry the environment is always, you know, wow.
Thank you. You know, he used to say to me, you say, he would tell me, he said, I think he told me one time, he said, grow some balls. you know, as in, you have to be bold, you know. And because I used to think, well, if I write this, what will people think? You know, people might not accept what I say. People might not, you know. But sometimes, you know, that boldness will come. I was a bold person before, but sometimes, you know, my true self will come out, and I'll just write what I need to write, and then I'll go and say, hey, what did they say? Did they like it? Did they not like it? You know, is it okay? I hope I haven't said, you know, I'm the kind of person that will say the thing that nobody else wants to say. I'm that kind of person, you know. And so sometimes I'm like, nobody's saying it this way. They're not saying. I'll just say it. But by then I'm like, will you beat me? You will not beat me. It's true. You can't beat me, you know. And but still, I'm still polite. I'm not rude. I'm not a rude person. Yeah. But I would say what I need to say. So I would say in the past 2 years, I have discovered who I am like never before. I have, you know, my boldness. I think I'm more bold than timid now. People used to say to me, I'm a very sensitive person, and I used to defend that. No, I'm not sensitive. Yes, I'm sensitive. My sensitivity makes me vulnerable. It's fine. No, I own my sensitivity.
You use your brain, you know. I get that a lot as well. I get that people say.
So you're very sensitive. When people say things, you get too sensitive. When they, well, I used to defend. No, I'm not sensitive. I'm very strong. You know, it's because you don't know me. Okay, I'm sensitive. What are you gonna do about it?
You know, I was saying to somebody earlier today, Oprah said, some people said that she's full of herself. And then at some point...
Would I be full of you?
Yeah, well, exactly. She said, I take that as a...
Should I be...
Because I am full. I have so much. I'm loaded, you know?
Yeah, I would ask you, would you rather be full of you? Nah, this is me. You understand? This is me. Before I would say, okay, I don't want to offend my friends. I don't know, but now I'll just say it. If you get offended, I'll tell you sorry, but I've told my truth. Oh, it's true. It's true. You see, in the past years, I've come to myself. I've come to know that I am a very. When I write on Facebook that I'm God's special lady, I mean it with every fiber of my being. I am God's special child, and I know it. I don't care what anybody says about it. Anybody else can say they are God's special child. That is what, if that's what you believe, good, is fine. But I am God's special child. God loves me in a special way, and that has given my confidence a big boost. There are things that people have gone through. There are things that people, there are things I've gone through that if other people have gone through them, they would have died. There are things I've gone through in my life that if other people have gone, they would have probably have gone mad. My story is not complete yet. It's coming. It's building up. Yeah. There are some things that are not even revealed yet to nobody. Do you understand? So there are some things that I've gone through that if other people have gone through, they would have run mad. But the thing is, because I know that God has a special interest in me and he loves me in a very partial way, I don't care what people say. In the past 2 years, I've come to rely so much on God's love because that's what keeps me going. Yeah. That is what has kept me here. That is what has made me who I am.
Maker, so why would you wait to think about what other people, when you have some, you should go back to who has made you, isn't it?
Yes.
The relationship. Wow. So for everyone listening, if you are in this, because I know there is that person listening to this, you need to, if you are somebody that have actually dwelt on what other people think, other people's opinion, good, bad, what is good, what is wrong, you need to have your own values. You need to set your boundaries. You need to appreciate yourself the way you are, and that is the starting point, because God has created you differently. So shine that difference. Try to identify that thing that is different about you, that thing that is special about you, and make it your selling point. Shine with it. And if people, not everyone will like you.
Oh, that's
basic. I've said that several times. Not the people that will like you will like you. And I'll say this to you, Balakbo. From the first day I met you, I've always looked at you and said, I love this lady. I didn't even know we had a bit of close relation, And I just looked at you with so much, and you're beautiful, honestly. So this is coming from a place of not some people, the people that will like you will like you. The people that are for you, that would go with your purpose, that will support your purpose, they would come. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're surrounded with people in the community that people bring you down, or you have to look at them before you eat, or before you go out, or before, you need to be very careful. You need to actually write them down and know how to sort yourself out. Just before I let you go, Dolapo, thanks so much for all those things. But what final comments will you give to people that are yet to identify their worth for good?
One thing I'll say is live life on your own terms. Live life on your own terms. The people you're trying to impress, the people you're trying to live after, they didn't create you. They did not make you. They didn't, they're not the ones that clothe you. They're not the ones keeping you alive. Live life on your own terms. Live happy. Love. For me, love is the basis on which I build everything. It's my foundation. It's what I live by. When people tell you live, love, laugh, that's just it. Live life on your own terms. Love without holding back. It can be really hard to, but loving is a choice. Love without holding back, and laugh. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at things that are going on around you. Life is not that hard though. Laugh. Learn to laugh. Learn to laugh.
I want you to
be happy.
Put in the love you. I want to see them. Come on, keep loving and laughing. Yes. And just
love and laugh.
You used positive affirmation. Because of positive affirmation works. So everyone watching, I want you to leave in the comments, I will live my life on my own terms.
And one last thing, avoid negativity.
Absolutely.
Anyone that is cut off any form of negativity. Cut them off. No matter how close the friend is to you, if they're saying things you don't want to hear, cut them
block them
off.
Delete their numbers.
Delete, and that's it.
Block them off.
You don't need it. Yeah.
I know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for sharing those valuable tips with us. I know somebody there, this is actually changing a life. I know that man, that woman there is been able to understand and is prepared to set the line straight and prepare his or herself for identifying the purpose in which God has created them to be. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. I am super grateful. And we are honored to have you. Hopefully, we're going to have you more. Yeah, we're going to have more of you. Thank you so much. We're super grateful. I'll let you go now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been nice being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And God bless you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a lovely evening. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. That was super. Right, if you have found this very useful, if you think this has been a very useful session, I want you to share this. Share this with somebody that needs to hear this, you know, share this everywhere as much as you can. There are people out there that are still in pain, that are living their life on other people's terms. You know, they are living their life based on wanting to make other people happy as opposed to making themselves happy. If you think you know those people, share this. And if you have enjoyed this session, please click on the like button. And yes, if you have any other question, feel free to send an email as usual. And if you have not subscribed, that is very, very important. On our YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, you know, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, you know, so that you don't miss future episodes. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for taking time to stay to the end of the show. And yes, I'll see you next week. This is Dr. Bola Omishade. And yeah, thanks for joining. Bye.